Hey there, West Michigan meteorologist Will Haney here. It's Thursday night, October 16th. Hopefully everyone enjoyed today's beautiful weather. It was a fantastic day, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures topped off in the mid 60s, and it's just slightly above average for this time of year. We're going to see a little bit more cloud cover tomorrow as we warm up, and the warming continues into Saturday, but then we reintroduce some pretty widespread rain chances for the weekend, which we're going to touch on here momentarily. I'm going to give this just a few seconds and we'll get some more people in the room. But like I said, hopefully everyone had a good day today. Shout out Keith, and apologies that this is a little late, but it's Keith's birthday today. And so he is enjoying some time off this week. I'll be in for him, obviously, tonight and then tomorrow night as well through the weekend. All right. So all is quiet out there. We still have clear skies overhead. That was the view in Allegan. This is Marshall showing you two of our lit up landmarks, the Brooks Memorial Fountain there. So we look at satellite and radar, like I said, clear for now. A little bit of some rain off to our northwest right now across kind of eastern Wisconsin. A few showers with that are going to be possible, mainly near north of I-96 though. So I would say for I-94 areas south, we should stay dry tonight. Just going to start to see a little bit more cloud cover. So we are mostly cloudy for tomorrow. High temperature around 69. Some locations I think could creep into those low 70s tomorrow. More likely though that we see the 70s on Saturday because an advancing low pressure system is going to pull some warmer air in, but it also pulls some rain our way, I think by late Saturday afternoon and evening. I know there's some area college / maybe university football games going on. So we're hoping that rain holds until the later afternoon so we can maybe get those games in mostly dry. More of Sunday, though, looking wet. So, while I think we'll start off most of Saturday, the morning and early afternoon dry, I think by Saturday, late afternoon, evening, and certainly Saturday night, it will be pretty wet. And the rain is more of like an all-day deal, essentially, on Sunday. Yes, Jeanette, I'm glad you enjoyed the weather. And yeah, happy birthday to Keith. I wonder if he'll be watching. I doubt it. I hope he's not. I hope he's just enjoying some time off and not thinking about work stuff. But I digress. Hour by hour keeps us clear tonight through early tomorrow. And temperature's not going to cool off quite as much as they did last night. Excuse me. Need some tea or something. We'll dip into the mid 40s. We got down to about 40 for an overnight low last night with some upper 30s. I don't think that'll be the case tomorrow. The wind is shifting a little bit. We'll also, like I said, see a little bit more cloud cover to kind of blanket those temps overnight. 60 or so right around lunchtime tomorrow, and then going throughout the day, there's the slightly warmer temperatures. All right, let's talk about the weekend. So again, in case you missed it, rain will not be falling for most of us to start Saturday. The only exception to that could be maybe some showers near the lakeshore, but the majority of this rain holds off until later in the day. Note the timestamp up here, Saturday, 5 o'clock. This is all some rain that's going to be starting at that point, I think by Saturday, late afternoon, evening. We're going to have this area of low pressure actually kind of take shape near Chicago late Saturday night into early Sunday. And as that develops, it's going to pick up the wind a little bit, and it also keeps the rain coming, especially into Sunday morning. May see some thunderstorms as well. Its associated cold front will push through probably early to mid Sunday morning, and by Sunday late evening, that low is out of here. In its wake, some cooler air and still lingering showers. But I think most of the rain should be exiting probably after that timestamp right there. So by around 7, 8 o'clock Sunday, we should be starting to dry out. But the best moisture in the atmosphere is going to happen late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. That's where the heaviest of the rain is expected. And you may hear some rumbles of thunder. There is a potential for some thunderstorms, but overall that chance is pretty low. We're not looking at anything severe. Now, when we look at like a 48-hour rain total from essentially Saturday morning early through the end of the day Sunday, it is looking rather impressive. About 1.5 to 2 inches looks more likely. And these rainfall amounts they could still fluctuate a little bit, but becoming a little bit more confident in that higher end amount of, like I said, 1.5 to 2 inches. The model's really trended up today as far as the rainfall totals. They also shifted the higher axis of rain a little farther south. So what I mean by that is this area of purple, that's primarily that area of round about 1.5 to 2 inches. It had some higher totals farther north yesterday. It's shifted that a little bit. We're getting into winter, kind of, still a few months away, but a couple months away. But, I think of when we talk about forecasting snowfall in the winter, a lot of times we talk about that, right? Like where the heaviest axis of snow is going to set up. This is kind of similar. We're just talking about rain. So basically we saw a shift maybe like 25 to 50 miles south in the last 24 hours. And like I said, higher rainfall totals in general. But the majority of this is going to happen late Saturday into Sunday with some lingering rain into Sunday. The other factor of Sunday's forecast that I want to point out is the wind. So like I said, that cold front swings through in the morning. It's going to shift the wind from southwest to northwest, and then it will really pick up throughout the day. So gusts could be flirting with 40 miles an hour. I think pretty conservatively 40 miles an hour. Near the lakeshore, I think they could easily get over 40 miles an hour. It'll be interesting to see if we have any sort of wind advisory that gets issued. But gale warnings are likely out over Lake Michigan, which would be the first true gales of the season. And gales are sort of defined as, I think, 45 knots or stronger out over open water. And with that, we could see it's either 40 or 45. Now I'm second guessing that. But anyways, where's my mariners at? Where's my boaters? What's a gale? The technical definition. I think it's a 40. It's either 40 knots or 45. It might be 40 knots, around 45 miles per hour. Anyways, so yeah, our first real gale event out on Lake Michigan. Wave heights are going to be as large as like 11 to 14 footers in some of the latest forecasts from the National Weather Service, from essentially, I would say, like Allegan, Van Buren County southward, because in that northwest wind, that really piles up the biggest waves in the southern open portion of Lake Michigan, aka kind of our region. So if you're into going out to park at the lake and watch the big waves crash along some of the piers, Sunday may be your friend. So that'll be cool. Appreciate you, Mike. Hey, Sue. Hey, Shar. What's up, Lily? Lily in the house. I like that name, Lily. No last name needed, unless your name is literally Lee. That's kind of cool, if so. David, yeah, the gales of November a couple weeks early. This is true, David. I pointed that out yesterday on air. This is kind of our first taste of the gales of November, just a little early, which we associate gales with November from a famous song and folklore, but they can certainly happen in October, as we know. The gales of October just doesn't have a ring to it. What's up, Gail? And everybody else that's on here. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, windy, wet this weekend. Fortunately, after the system clears out of here, we should see some dry conditions on Monday. But I know it's not great timing with the rain, the wind on the weekend when you're trying to do stuff. 51 will do it overnight tonight 51 is the current temperature. 46 will do it for an overnight low. Clouds increasing late, a shower or two north. 69 the high tomorrow, again, mostly cloudy. Rain and a few rumbles by the end of the day Saturday into Sunday as well. If we see some storms Sunday, I think it's really early in the morning, and then it's just kind of like an all-day rain. Monday looks really nice before another round of some showers possible Tuesday and Wednesday. A few things really quick. Let's see. Drought monitor came out today. Pause. I'm going to zoom ahead. Not much changes locally. We still have drought, shocker. Moisture content in the lowest meter of the top meter of soil is very low. We're talking like 2% or less, according to like drought.gov. So there is very little moisture content in the top, I would say, meter of soil. that becomes problematic. You're probably like, why do you guys keep talking about drought when it's the fall and harvest is going on? This would be a lot more alarming if this was like in the middle of summer, for example. But that being said, any drought is not good, really any time of year, because it kind of has like a ripple effect, right? So if we don't get some decent rain, which obviously this weekend is going to help a lot, but this weekend is good timing because we need some rain, we need some topsoil moisture before the ground freezes for winter, because that's going to help as the ground thaws out come springtime, that we don't end up with like just still some really dry topsoil for planting then in the spring. Drought also has implications for machinery during harvest. It kicks up more dust, things like that just wears on farming equipment a lot more. So like I said, drought is never good. Even though we're like, oh, it's the fall, like, isn't the harvest mostly done? Yes, kind of. But it's still, like I said, not ideal. So we want it to go away. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. Another thing I will mention really quickly is this, just a quick stat for you. Now, granted, these numbers, those averages you see there, or the plus 4.2 degrees Fahrenheit, technically those were from yesterday. So they could be up or down like a tenth of a degree, perhaps. But as of yesterday, Lake Michigan, that plus 5.7 F, that is the anomaly for lake surface temperatures. So we're talking the entire lake surface averaged, how that compares to the average over essentially the last like 30 years for October 15th/16th. So Lake Michigan is up like 5.5 degrees over kind of where it is typically this time of year. Now, lake temperatures can fluctuate very rapidly. In fact, you'll see when you look at lake surface temperature charts, you'll see that line bounces all over pretty commonly. That's not that unusual. It doesn't take a lot for us to see, the wind and waves kind of churn Lake Michigan for those surface temperatures to drop pretty quickly. And then likewise, you can actually sometimes see some warmer temperatures kind of like come back into play fairly quickly in the summer. I'm just showing this because all of the Great Lakes right now are a little warmer than average. This could speak to the fact that, if we see these trends hold, our first real punch of Arctic air, if we still see these sort of, anomalously warm bodies of water, that could help boost perhaps our first lake effect events of the season. Now, it's not actually as dramatic as you might think. Lake water temperatures are key for lake effect snow, but the bigger impact is actually just the kind of strength of that polar air. In other words, how cold the Arctic air is versus how warm those warmer bodies of water is. Lake effect snow is all driven by essentially the difference of lake surface temperature and air temperatures about maybe like 2,000-3,000 feet up from kind of where those clouds start to form and then where they really start to grow as well. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I just saw some stuff floating around, myself included. I posted this saying, this could help a little bit enhance some lake effect snow, but it is not to say like, oh, like some people are kind of using this and almost implying that like, oh, this season's going to be crazy for lake effect snow. That's really like not a direct correlation always. It's more how many early season shots of Arctic air do we see? Because at the end of the day, that's the ultimate driver, in addition to obviously still some relatively warmer water. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on lake effect snow. I also wanted to show a couple other cool things. So you might have heard about this comet, and there's been a lot of chatter on social media about this. This is Comet C 2025 A6 Lemon. Lemon refers to, I believe, the telescope that actually discovered this. I believe the C2 2025, I shouldn't misspeak, but I'm pretty sure that refers to when this comet was like discovered, which would allude to this year. And I'm not positive what the little A6 thing is. But comets have a naming moniker that I can't exactly, at this moment, remember. But is this cool? Yes. Is it epic? No. Comets are fairly common. We get maybe a comet or two a year that is possible perhaps to see with the naked eye. This one is on the kind of like very low end of what we can see with the naked eye. So what I mean by that is it will appear very, very faint, if you can even decipher, okay, that's the comet versus a star, which honestly takes some skill / a solid sky tracking app on your phone. So like if you've seen these posts going around on social media and you're like, oh my gosh, we gotta go out. Either you can see it in the evening too. Right now, it's a little higher in the sky, actually, kind of about an hour before sunrise. Later this month, it will be higher in the sky in the evening. I don't want to get into that too much, but if you've seen stuff on this on social media, it's not as I hate to be that guy, but it's not that epic. And like if you don't go out and see this with your naked eye, you're not like missing out that much. I don't want you to think that. If you do have a good telescope or even a decent lens on a decent camera, then it's probably worth it, I think, because you might be able to see the little tail on the comet itself, which is pretty cool. And you can't see that all the time. We can't see comets all year. So then we might be talking. But if you don't have those things and you're a little bit more novice when it comes to astronomy, not that you can't learn, it's very it's easy actually to get some of these sky tracker apps and kind of like learn how to spot things in the night sky. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But if you don't have pretty good binoculars or a decent telescope or a good camera lens, then I don't think you're missing that much. That's my hot take on the comet. And that's as someone who loves this stuff and is also a big nerd about this stuff. Another cool thing, I could go on and on and on about all these random things. Next week, actually right now, is the Orionid meteor shower. It is a meteor shower that happens this time of year into early November. This year, the peak is expected Monday night into Tuesday of next week. The best chance really to see these is after midnight through dawn. We're talking about 10 to 20 per hour of those meteors, aka shooting stars. And but that is under ideal conditions. Ideal conditions meaning dark sky location away from city lights, where you give your eyes 30 minutes to adjust. You get a wide gaze of the sky. You might see some shooting stars. So if you're into that, Monday night is looking pretty good. It gets its name. All the meteor showers, I think, get their name essentially from the point at which all the tails can be traced back to, the radiant. So what that refers to in this case is the constellation Orion. So meteors can appear anywhere in the sky, but if you trace their radiant, their point of origin, they all would still come from that general area. That being said, they don't all appear right there, if that makes sense. So they all have they share a radiant, but they can appear, if you have a wide gaze, you can just look up. You don't have to look at Orion to see them. But anyways, so you just want to look up, give your eyes some time to adjust. And fortunately, the weather on Monday looking, I think, pretty favorable. We'll hope that there's a system bringing some rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday. I hope that the clouds and rain hold off until, at the earliest Tuesday morning, but hopefully, if not later. So anyways, all right. I'm sorry I failed to read some comments. Good evening, Deb. Good night, Lily. Lily's going to bed. Good night, Lily. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And Deb, hello. Chris, what's up? And happy birthday to Chief Keith. Good evening, Sean in Portage. What's up, Sean in Portage? Yeah, that is very true, David. You say that living in hell in the first lake effect event of the season often drops rain over us and snow farther inland. Time will tell. Yeah, David, that some of those first season events, it's because the lake is so warm that it kind of insulates within 5 to 10 miles of Lake Michigan. It kind of keeps the first 5 to 10 miles a little warmer before that air is able to cool off efficiently enough to get true lake effect snow. And that is interesting. Yeah. And sometimes right at the lakeshore, you guys might not get as much lake effect as say down towards say Fenville, for example. just a little inland, or like Allegan in like a northwest flow coming from like Holland down. So yeah, good point there. Mike, what's up? And Keith and Melissa, forever and always, happy 22nd birthday, Pookie. I don't know who Pookie is, but happy 22nd birthday. And I think that's going to be it. I'm going to wrap this up. I got to go down to the studio. I talk too much. Fun fact. And yeah, I'm going to be on air in 10 minutes on the ARC West Michigan, and then 11 on News Channel 3. So hopefully you'll join me there. I'll try and hop on here. Oh, David Turner, you are 5 miles inland. That is very true. Yeah, right along the lake is a whole different ball game for sure. But anyways, thanks for hopping on here, everybody, and all the comments and all the likes and everything. If you don't follow my page, if you don't follow my page, I would appreciate that. And like I said, I'll be on air in a few minutes. I'll try and hop on here tomorrow night, give a little update on the weekend forecast, and we'll go over, if the rainfall amounts have changed or trended, even higher or a little lower. But right now, I think 1.5 inches to 2 inches is looking pretty solid across our area. So yeah, going to be a wet one this weekend, and we'll keep you posted. And there will be an article as well going up on our website really shortly. So if you missed this Facebook Live, if you're just hopping on here, you want to read through some of the details, I've got a fresh article that will be posted, if not already, any minute. All right. Thank you guys, and stay tuned. See you later.